Welcome back, warrior. We are reading Ezra chapter 5. Okay, so the Lord raised up prophets during this time when the Jews were laboring to build the second temple. This is what the Bible dictionary says about the prophets, Haggai and Zechariah. Haggai, an Old Testament prophet who prophesied in approximately 520 BC in Jerusalem soon after the Jewish people returned from their exile in Babylonia. He spoke of rebuilding the Lord's temple in Jerusalem and reproved the people because it had not been finished. He also wrote of the millennial temple and reign of the Savior. And in chapter 1, the Lord rebuked the people for living in their finished houses while the temple remained unbuilt. Chapter 2 records Haggai's prophecy that the Lord will give peace in his temple. Then Zechariah, an Old Testament prophet who prophesied around 520 BC, he lived at the same time as the prophet Haggai. The book is noted for its prophecies of Christ's mortal ministry and his second coming. Chapters 1 to 8 contain a series of visions of the future of God's people. Chapter 9 to 14 contain visions about the Messiah, the last days, the gathering of Israel, and the final great war, and the second coming. Okay, so when we study the books of Haggai and Zechariah, we will want to remember the history of the time they lived in. Yeah, good luck with us remembering this. Okay, so we are, where are we at? Trying to find, here we go. Ezra chapter 5. Haggai and Zechariah prophesy. Zerubbabel renews the building of the temple. The Samaritans challenge the Jews' right to continue building their work. Okay, so we have 17 verses. This should go quick. Then the prophets, good morning. Okay, so the Lord raised up prophets during this time when the Jews were laboring to build the second temple. This is what the Bible dictionary. So we read about that. So Haggai and Zechariah were prophets. Okay. So we are now reading verse 2. Then rose up Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, and Jeshua, the son of Jozadak, and began to build the house of God, which is at Jerusalem, and with them were the prophets of God helping them. At the same time came to them Tatnai, governor on this side of the river, and Shethar Boznai, and their companions, and said unto them, Who hath commanded you to build this house and to make up this wall? Then said we unto them after this manner, What are the names of the men that make this building? But the eye of their God was upon the elders of the Jews, that they could not cause them to cease, till the matter came to Darius. And then they returned answer by letter concerning this matter. Oh man. Excuse me. These scriptures make me sleepy. We still do not have a new treadmill. I know. Tell me about it. So the copy of the letter that Tatnai, governor on this side of the river, and Shethar Bonzai and his companions, the Apharsachites, which were on this side of the river, sent unto Darius the king. They sent a letter unto him, wherein was written thus: Unto Darius the king, all peace. Be it known unto the king that we went into the province of Judea to the house of the great God, which is builded with great stones, and timber is laid in the walls, and this work goeth fast on, and prospereth in their hands. Then asked we those elders, and said unto them, Thus who commanded you to build this house, and to make up these walls? We asked their names also, to certify thee, that we might write the names of the men that were the chief of them. And thus they returned us answer, saying, We are the servants of the God of heaven and earth, and build the house that was builded these many years ago, which a great king of Israel builded and set up. But after that our fathers had provoked the God of heaven unto wrath, he gave them into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, the Chaldean, who destroyed this house and carried the people away unto Babylon. But in the first year of Cyrus, the king of Babylon, the same King Cyrus made a decree to build this house of God, and the vessels also of gold and silver of the house of God, which Nebuchadnezzar took out of the temple that was in Jerusalem and brought them into the temple of Babylon. Those did Cyrus the king take out of the temple of Babylon, and they were delivered unto one whose name was Sheshbazzar, whom he had made governor, and said unto him, Take these vessels, go, carry them into the temple that is in Jerusalem, and let the house of God be builded in his place. Then came Sheshbazzar and laid the foundation of the house of God, which is in Jerusalem, and since that time, even until now, hath it been in building, and yet it is not finished. Okay, so I understand that much, that this whole time they've been trying to rebuild the temple since Cyrus was able to tell them it was okay, but then they haven't been able to finish them. So verse 17, now therefore, if it seem good to the king, let there be a search made in the king's treasure house, which is there at Babylon, whether it be so that a decree was made of Cyrus the king to build this house of God at Jerusalem, and let the king send his pleasure to us concerning this matter. Okay, so we get to rebuild the temple. And the letter says that, so he was just, let's see, governor and other officers then sent a letter to Darius and explained that the temple is being constructed and this work goeth fast on and prospereth in their hands. When the elders were asked who was doing the work, they responded, and then they recount the history of the Jews, the capture by Babylon, and how the great Persian king Cyrus had decreed them to rebuild this house. So Tatnai does not seem to be persuading the king, but giving the accurate account of what the Jews had told him. So he continues to explain that Cyrus had made the decree that it was okay to build the house, and even returned the vessels of gold and silver to the temple. Therefore, they suggest that if it seemed good to the king, let there be search made to the king in the king's treasure house, which is there at Babylon, whether it be so. He was questioning the truth of whether Cyrus had really done such a thing. So he was requesting that King Darius look into the matter and see if Cyrus had truly given royal permission and help to rebuild the temple in Jerusalem. So that's awesome. Okay, Ezra chapter 6. Okay, until Ezra chapter 6, stay strong, warrior.